Hello, it's story time.
No one believed Zaid, not even when he was telling the truth. At 17, he had mastered the art of lying the way others mastered gaming or guitar. He lied about his grades, his friends, his emotions, and especially about his past. It wasn't always like this, though. There was a time when Zaid was the quiet kid in the back of the class, waiting for someone to notice he existed. But no one ever did. Not at school, not at home. His father left when he was 10. His mother was always busy surviving. And Zaid? He became the kid who survived by becoming whoever people wanted him to be. "You lied about your mom being in the hospital again?" his friend Mikkel asked, trying not to laugh. Zaid grinned. "Bro, how else do you think I got out of the math test?" They were sitting on the rooftop of their school, sharing chips and chewing on boredom. Mikhail always looked impressed, but even he knew. There was something weirdly hollow about Zaid's victories. He lied and won, but it never felt like winning. That night, Zaid posted another video on TikTok. This time, he faked being homeless. Hoodie, dark under-eye makeup, a cardboard sign that read, "Lost everything in life, but not my hope." The video went viral. Comments flooded in. "This made me cry. Where can I donate? God bless this brave soul." He smiled at the screen, enjoying the fake sympathy. But somewhere inside, something twisted, something small, something like shame. Next morning, his throat felt rough. Just dry, he thought. Later that week, he faked a panic attack in school to skip a presentation. Even the nurse believed him. Everyone always believed the performance. But the next day, when he tried to record a voice note, nothing came out. Not a word. His voice, gone. Completely. He coughed, drank water, tried again. Nothing. Panic crawled up his spine. He ran to the mirror. Mouth opened. Throat moved. No sound. Zaid's mom shouted from the other room, "Why aren't you answering me?" He opened his mouth to reply, but again, nothing. That night, as he lay in bed, shaking under the blanket, he suddenly heard something. A whisper, close, like it came from inside his own chest. "You used me. Now live without me." His eyes went wide. The voice sounded like his own, but darker, hollow, angry. He sat up, heart pounding. "Who's there?" he tried to whisper, but even in silence, his own ears betrayed him. No sound. He typed a message to Mikkel in panic. "Bro, I can't speak, at all. My voice is gone." Mikkel replied instantly. "Man, stop messing around? Another prank?" He wanted to scream, "No!" but he couldn't. Not a whisper. In his silence, the whisper came again. "You lied too much. Now lies are all you have. And lies can't speak the truth." Zaid slapped his own face as if trying to wake up. He wasn't dreaming. He knew it. The world was real. His fear was real. And the voice, it was only beginning. He stopped going to school. At first, people thought it was another act. Some said he was faking an illness. Others thought it was for another video. Even Mikhail started to pull away, replying less and less to his texts. Zaid tried writing notes to explain, but no one took them seriously. His teachers shrugged. His mom just sighed and mumbled something about attention-seeking behavior. The silence was louder than any noise he'd ever heard. One afternoon, sitting alone in his room, he picked up his phone to scroll through his old videos. Laughter, lies, praise. He watched himself cry fake tears and say fake words. And suddenly, it all looked ugly, plastic, rotten. He threw the phone across the room, but as it hit the wall, the whisper returned. "You think you're the victim? You silenced others first, with your lies." Zaid stood still, breathing shallow. The voice, his own, was talking to him again. But now, it wasn't just whispering. It was showing. Suddenly, his room began to blur. The walls faded into a dark hallway. He wasn't dreaming. It was like a memory playing in front of him, but not from his eyes. He saw a younger boy, maybe 10, shy, wearing cheap shoes, crying behind the school shed. That boy had been blamed for stealing a phone. Zaid had told the principal it was him. It wasn't. It never was. That kid had been expelled. Zaid never saw him again. "Do you remember now?" the voice said. "He tried to tell the truth, but your lie was louder." Zaid gasped, trying to shout, to apologize, but nothing came out, only silence. The vision snapped. He was back in his room, cold sweat on his forehead, hands shaking, his phone buzzed. Mikal. The message read, "Zaid, bro, you saw the news?" He opened the link. It was a news clip. A teenager had jumped off an apartment building last night. The same boy Zaid once lied about. Same face, same name. Gone. Zaid dropped the phone. His breath caught in his throat. His fingers trembled. The whisper came back. One lie took his voice. Another took his life. How many more will you bury? How many more will you bury? Tears streamed down Zaid's cheeks. For the first time in his life, he didn't want to lie. For the first time, he didn't care about sympathy. He just wanted to scream. But all he had was silence. The days blurred into each other. Zaid stopped eating properly, stopped checking his phone. He sat in corners, stared at walls, and scribbled prayers on pieces of paper he didn't know how to say out loud anymore. Every time he tried to speak, only air escaped. Like his voice was a ghost now, haunting him from the inside. His mother grew worried, but she didn't know what to do. She offered soup, booked a doctor's appointment, called relatives. No one knew what was wrong. The scans showed nothing. The doctors called it psychological trauma. But how do you treat guilt? At night, Zaid began dreaming. But these weren't dreams. They felt like something more, something heavier, something sent. He stood in a vast desert, the sky blood orange, the sand cracked beneath his feet, and in front of him stood a man with his back turned, tall, wrapped in a white cloth, glowing faintly. Zaid wanted to ask who he was, but again, silence. The man turned slowly and spoke, though his lips never moved. "You built your world on lies, and now it is collapsing, brick by brick." Zaid tried to run, but his feet sunk into the sand. The man pointed to the sky. It began to rain ink, black, heavy drops that soaked everything. And as the ink fell, Zaid's body began to disappear, piece by piece, starting from his mouth. He woke up screaming, or trying to, still mute. He reached for his notebook and wrote something for the first time that wasn't a joke, wasn't a lie. "Is Allah punishing me?" The whisper didn't come this time, just silence. But silence had changed. It wasn't empty now. It was filled with something, a mirror. He kept writing every day. Notebooks filled with thoughts, regret, stories he used to make up, now rewritten with truth. He started writing letters, not to people, but to the ones he had lied about. The kid he got expelled, the teacher he blamed for bullying, his own mom, who thought he was doing well in school all this time. And then, one day, while walking past a mosque, the same one he used to avoid because he was too busy, he saw something. A little boy sitting outside, crying, dirty clothes, torn sandals, alone. People walked past. Zaid knelt down and offered the boy his water bottle. The boy didn't take it. Zaid reached into his bag, pulled out his notebook, and wrote, "Are you okay?" The boy looked at the note, nodded, then looked away. Zaid sat with him for hours, said nothing, just stayed. Later, someone recognized the boy. He had run away from home. The mosque caretaker called the family. They arrived crying, thanked Zaid over and over, offered him money. Zaid shook his head. He couldn't speak, but he didn't need to. He walked home that night with a strange stillness in his chest, like something inside had shifted, like a lock had moved. And then, in the dead quiet of the night, as he lay in bed and he whispered, "Thank you." His voice was hoarse, broken, but it was real. And the whisper inside, it didn't reply, because maybe for once it didn't need to. The next morning, Zaid stood in front of the mirror. His reflection looked tired, pale, but something about his eyes was different, softer, clearer. He tried speaking again. "Hello?" A whisper, fragile, but it was his. He blinked back tears, unsure whether to smile or break down. It wasn't like he got his full voice back. Number. It came in pieces, like trust, like healing, but every word felt earned now. That day, he opened his old TikTok app, the same one he had used to lie, to perform, to build a fake version of himself. His old videos were still there, still racking views. He watched himself pretending to cry in one, fake pain on his face, comments flooded with fake praise. He deleted it. One by one, he erased the lies. Then he opened the camera, stared at it for a long time, and hit record. He didn't say much, just 5 shaky words. I lied. I'm sorry, truly. He posted it. No hashtags, no effects, just truth. It didn't go viral. It didn't need to. A few hours later, he got a DM, a girl from school he barely remembered. I used to hate you. Thought you were fake. But this felt real. Hope you're okay. More messages followed. Not a flood, just drops. Real ones. The kind that didn't feel like noise. Days passed. He kept his voice small, careful. He spoke only when it mattered. One afternoon, while walking home from the store, he heard shouting. A street fight. 2 guys, one of them clearly younger, cornered, scared, about to get jumped. Zaid ran over instinctively, and for a second, froze. Old Zaid would have turned this into a joke, filmed it maybe, lied about calling the cops. But he stepped in. No phone, no plan, just truth. He shouted, loud and clear, "Stop!" They looked at him. Shocked. His voice, full, steady, boomed like it had never been lost. They backed off. The younger boy ran. Zaid stood still, heart pounding. No whisper followed. Only the sound of his own breath, raw and alive. That night, as he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, he thought about everything. The lies, the silence, the boy, the voice. He didn't know if it was a miracle, a punishment, or something in between. All he knew was that silence had taught him something he'd never learned from noise. And in the quiet of the room, he smiled to himself, because he finally understood. Sometimes losing your voice is the only way to hear what it was saying all along.